going back, what we covered in the last lecture was we knew what a fraction is, equivalent fraction, simplest form of the fraction. We did some classwork and adding or subtracting fractions, and then I gave you some homework. Okay, so what is a fraction? We know fraction is when a whole number or amount is divided into equal part. I'm not going to repeat the last time's lecture, just going a little revision. And then we said there is something, a part is a numerator and a denominator. And we said the equivalent fraction is when you add or subtract. Oh, yeah. Equivalent fractions are the fraction that represent equal portions of a whole amount. So it means if you have a fraction, if you multiply with the same number, numerator and denominator, so you get a equivalent fraction that we learned last time. If you have any problem, if you do not understand, just give me a message on the chat. Okay, so we would do adding and subtracting fraction today, multiplying fractions, and then dividing fraction. That is today's lecture. So let's come here, and that is something which we learned in the last lecture also. If we have to add or subtract a fraction, we should make their denominators same. For example, in this question, we have 1 over 2 plus 2 over 3. So their denominators are 2 and 3. They are not same. So we will have to make them same. So how we do that? We find the LCM, least common multiple of the denominators. So we found that. Let me mute some of the participants. Yeah. So find the least common multiple. So what is multiple and common multiples of two numbers? Let me explain that. So multiple is like times table. So you just like 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. So there is an example which I have put it here for you. Um, the multiple of 2 is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. And then and then I just so I have to mute some of the participants. Okay, yeah, okay. So here we have a question where we have 1 over 2 plus 2 over 3. So the denominators are different, 2 and 3. So we would like to have them the same, the denominator same. How we do that? We find the LCM of these two numbers, and then we convert these number denominator by multiplying or dividing into the least common multiple. Let me see how this goes. So the first question is, what is multiple and common multiple? So let me just highlight or put what is a multiple and a common multiple. So multiple is like timetable. So multiples of 2 and 3 are, for example, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah. And multiple of 3 is 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 9, and 12. We understand that. So these are the multiples. And now let's see what are the common multiples in this. If we compare these two and we try to see what are the common multiples. So if I compare here, so there is a 6 here, which is in the both. So this 6 is a multiple, and also 12 is a multiple of 3, 2, and 3. So what would be the least common multiple in this case? Can you type, please, so that I understand that you know? Yeah, type it at your chat. So what would be the least common multiple of 2 and 3? Good, good. Yeah, 6. So 6 is the least common multiple in 2 and 3. So I would do here again. So in this case, least common multiple of, so let me write it. So least common multiple of 2 and 3 is 6, which we see. Let me change the color, and we see here and here. So looking at some common multiple of, so let me go here and I come back. I just lost my T because, okay. I have to find where I made the notes. I think I had just zoomed it a lot. Yeah, okay. Yeah, here. So we saw that the least common multiple of 2 and 3 is 6. So looking at above common multiple of 2 and 3, we found that therefore we have to convert. So I would do the question here. So we have to now convert this 2 and this 3 into 6. So again, I would request for your help. So it is 1 over 2. And what should I do here? I should times it by what that it becomes 6. We would times it by 3. And then we had another, which was 2 over 3. And we would time it by 2 here and 2. And remember, whatsoever you do in the numerator, times the same you should do in that denominator. Numerator and denominator, there should be the same. So what it becomes? So this becomes 3 over 6 plus
Yeah.
4 over 6. So now you have the same denominator. So you have the same denominator and then you can add them. So the answer would be, can somebody type what would be the answer, please? Yeah, type it at your chat, please. Yeah, so we have some. Yeah, so 6 is the same and 7. So kindly don't write on that whiteboard because, okay. So this becomes 6 over 7, and if you write it in a mixed form, it becomes 1 whole 1 over 6. Good. So let's go to the next part, and I would do the same.
He's in control of the whiteboard. Okay.
Yeah, kindly don't control the, okay. So now we will do a question, and so how you find the LCM? That's a question. So you can find a LCM by multiplying the number and dividing it by the highest common factor. How you do that? Highest. Um, so next question is, what is factors and what is a highest common factors? So the factors of a number is if you divide that number by, and you do not have a remainder, so that's a factor. So if, for example, if it is a 6, 1 times 6 is 6, so 1 and 6 are the factors of 6. Similarly, we know 6 is 2 times 3, therefore 2 and 3 are the factors of 6. So 2 and 3 are factors of 6. Yeah, they are factors of 6. 2 and 3 are the factors. Right, I can type it here. Just give me, yeah. So 2 and 3 are, they are factors of 6. Factors of 6. So we do similarly, if you have, in the last example, we saw we converted it to the 6, which was the least common multiple. So we would do here also. So if you see how you find the LCM, you find the LCM by multiplying 2 over 3 and dividing it by the its highest common factor. So that's the question which you have to do now. Can you tell me that what is the highest common factor of 16 and 10? Yeah? What is the highest common factor of 16 and 10? Or let's write first of all, what are the factors of 16? So kindly type in your chat what are the factors of 16. So here I would put it here as you would reply. What are the factors of 16? They are 1, 2, 4, 8, and then is 16. Yeah. And what are the factors of 10? What are the factors of 10, please? Yeah, you have to type in your, okay. So it would be 1, 2, 5, and 10. So if you see, what are the common factors? So let me highlight them. So the common factor is this one. This is a common factor. So what it means, what would be the LCM of 16 and 10? So we have to find the LCM of 16 and 10. Let me here. So let me type it here. LCM of 16 and 10. That would be equal to, as we said, it would be equal to multiply them both. 16, let me take a red color. It would be 16 times 10 divided by its highest common factor. So 4, 8, 1, 2, 5, 10. So the highest common factor is in fact 2. So that becomes 80. So it means LCM of 16 and 10 are 80. I hope you understand that. Yeah, kindly type if you have understood that. I am not able to see the chat somehow. Can somebody type at the chat? I think there is some problem with the Zoom maybe. I just stop share for a minute and then come back. Yeah, okay. I come back now. I start sharing again. So we have learned something important now, that if you have to find an LCM, you can find it by multiplying those numbers and dividing it by the highest common factor. So that is something which we learned. Okay. Um, let's see, I have put some questions for you and you would do this for me so that we are doing. So first of all, we would do it one by one. So you have to let me know what is 3 by 5 plus 4 over 5 equal to. Yeah, write at your chat what is the answer of the first question. Good. So I'm getting some answers. Yeah. Okay, good, good. So it is because this thing is equal, the denominators are equal. Therefore, we would just add and it would be 7 over 5. That's easy. Let's do the second question, and because it's in green, let me take the green color. Now the denominators are not equal. So first of all, you have to make them equal. Can somebody let me know what is the LCM in this case? 3 and 4. So the first question is finding the least common multiple of 3 and 4. What is that? Can you type, please? Okay. So the least common multiple of 3 and 4 is 12. So you have to now convert this thing denominator in 12. So what would be the answer? Let me change this to green color. Okay, so some of the students have quickly done. So what we would do is, because it's 12 and 3 times 4 is 12, let me take a red color. We would times it by 4, and we would also time it by 4. And here we have to make it 12, so we would time it by 3, and we will also time it by 3. So this means this becomes 20 over 12. Yeah, 20 over 12 and minus 9 over 12. And now the denominator is same, therefore you can, and let me see what is your answers. So the 20 minus 9 is, so it becomes 11 over 12. 11 over 12. Very nice. Most of the people have been able to do. Now we have a mixed number. So once there are the mixed number, first you will have to convert it into a fraction. So let's do this part now. Yeah. So what is this thing equal to? 8 times 3 is 24, and 24 plus 5 is 29. So it becomes 29 over 8, and this thing becomes 11. 4 times 2 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11, 11 over 4. So kindly do this question and uh, give the answer. Okay, so 29 plus, so now because the denominators are different, we will have to make it equal to 8. So we times it by 2, and we here times it by 2 also. So this becomes 29 over 8. Sorry, it's sometime the writing is giving a problem. 29 over 8 plus 22 over 8, and naturally this becomes 51 over 8, and this you can write it another form. Let me rub this. 20, I just rub, yeah, this is 51 by 8, and the 51 by 8 is actually equal to 6 whole 3 by 8. This is something which we knew now. And now we do one question which is negative 1. So kindly do that and write the answer please at the chat. We can quickly do this for you. So if you see, this becomes 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 plus 1 is, so this becomes 5 over 2 minus 6 times, and this one is 11 over 6. Now these are not equal, therefore you have to convert them into something which is, so we have to, and there I take a red color, we have to time it by 3 so that we have a in denominator same number. So this thing becomes 15 over 6, and this is minus 11 over 6. So this thing becomes 4 over 6. Or then you can also simplify it. Let me take a green color, and 2 times 3 is 6. So 2 times 3 is 6, and here 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So the answer would be 2 over 3. So we did some questions with the positive and negative, and let's see, we look at some more examples and we move to the next part. Okay, let me see where my notes have gone, because sometimes let me see, the notes have disappeared at some area. Yeah, it's there. Okay, so we have learned how to add or subtract fractions. Now we would learn the next part, that is multiplying the fractions. So once you are multiplying the fractions, simply multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. The denominators need not to be the same. That's something which and it means, just let me give you an example, and I take a blue color, or rather I take if you have 3 over 4 times 2 over 7, so you would just multiply the numbers in the numerator together and the numbers in the denominator. So it would be 4 times 7 is actually 28. But there is one thing which you can do to simplify that, because once we see there is something which is in the numerator and denominator which comes in the same table, so we can say 2 times 1 and 2 times 2. So this becomes now 3 times 1 is 3 and 2 times 7 is 14. So this is something which we can do. So before I move further, I would let you that sometimes in the fraction we have a word which is off. Let me highlight it. I just highlight. So this is, so let me highlight this off. And off means off. If you find in a question a thing off, you should replace that with the multiplication sign, with the times sign here, as we have done. So for example, if the question is what is 1 over 2 of 3 over 4, you would replace off by a times, and this will become something like this. 1 times 3, 3, and 2 times 4 is 8. So this is another way of doing it. So we have some questions which you would do. First of all, kindly do this question, the first question, which is in red. 2 by 5 multiply by 3 by 7. Kindly give the answer in your chat. Good. I have received one answer. Kindly write. So it's for everyone. Yeah. So this is easy. It is 2 times 3 is 2 times 3 is 6, and 7 times 5 is 35. That's easy. Let's do this question, and I have deliberately put this question here because let me give you a hint. There is a number which can be divided. So in that, if you
Zoom lesson.
so you can see that you can divide this 8 by this 4. So you can do like this. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So then the
Count
answer would become, yeah,
this fraction.
you have to give the answer, please. So let me just mute some of the participants. Yeah. So kindly write what is the answer here. Okay, good. 14 by. Okay, let me go back. So it becomes 14 over 5. And now we increase the difficulty a little bit more. And now we have a question which is, let me open it a little, zoom down. Yeah, so we have a now mixed number. So first of all, you have to convert this mixed number into a fraction, and then you will do. So kindly do this question. Yeah. Kindly do this question and give me the answer. Okay, we see that how it goes. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. So we will have this becomes 10 over 3. And then we have to time it. And 5 twos are 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. So it becomes 12 over 10. Let me take the other color. If you see this 10 and this 10 gets cancelled. This 10 and this 10 gets cancelled. And 3 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 4 is 12. So it means that the answer is in fact, so the answer becomes 4. Hopefully I am not making a mistake. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1, 10 over 3, and 12 over 10, 10, 10. Yeah, I hope that everyone, let me see in the chat that how it's not 12 over 10. Yeah, okay, let me see that. Let me see that because I just wanted to see 12 over 5. Yeah, it's not 12, 5. Yeah, yes, I was thinking that I'm making a mistake, and it is pointed out by one of the student. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's good. And as I said last time, the teachers also make a mistake. So it is not 10. It is in fact 5 here. So let me correct the question. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for pointing it out. So here 5 twos are 10, 10, and here it is in fact here 5. Let me take the red color so this is 5, and now the question becomes something else. So this, let me take the green color, 5, and here we have 2. So once it is like this, so it becomes 4 times 2 is, let me rub that answer. Yeah, I have to rub this, and it becomes now 8. I hope it's correct now. Um, okay, I just again do it. I hope I'm not making a mistake. So somebody asked to do it again, so I would do it again. So let me put a line here, and let me take another color. So it is 3 times 1 over 3 times 2 over 5. So we have to convert this mixed number. So it becomes 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. So it becomes 10 over 3. So this is 10 over 3. And this is times 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. So it becomes 12 over 5. So this becomes 12 over 5. Now, one thing which perhaps if you see something, let me highlight it. If you see that there is a number in the numerator, in the denominator, and there is a number in the denominator which comes in some numbers table. For example, here it is 5 and here it is 10, and this comes in the table of 5. So we would do like this. We would simplify it. How we simplify it? We simplify because 5 times 1 is 5, so we do like this. 5 times 2 is 10, so therefore we simplify it. And here also we see 3 and 4, so we see that they can be simplified, because 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12. So we can simplify it also here. So it becomes 3 times 1, because, and here 3, 4. And then you have 1 times 1 and 4 times 2. So it becomes 8. So there was a request on the chat that kindly explain it again. So uh, Razi, um, hope you have understood that. If you not, kindly let me know and I do it again. Is Razi, is it clear to you, please? Thanks. Okay, that's good. So this is something which sometimes students make a mistake because they do not know. I can I can do it in another way also that you understand. Instead of if simplifying, we have this number like 10 over 3. So we are not simplifying it. It is 10 over 3 and it is 12 over 5. And if you multiply the numerator and denominator separately, and let me take a yellow, or let me take a red color rather. So if I So what is 12 times 10? We know it would be 120. So we are not simplifying. And what is 5 times 3? It is 15. If you have a calculator and you divide, or you can divide it something like that. So actually, if you divide 120 by 15, it is 8. It comes in the table of, so it is actually 8. So this is another way of that. If you are not very comfortable with dividing, then you can do like this also. It would be the same answer, but by making a simplification as we did here, which I have highlighted, it's easier. So it is always good if you can simplify that. Okay, we are getting short on time, therefore we would move to the next part, which is, and you would help me with this. Sorry. So we would do a dividing fraction. So we have done a multiplication, and in the multiplication what we did, we multiplied the numerator together, we multiplied the denominator together. Now we would do a dividing fraction. And how we do a dividing fraction? To divide a fraction, multiply by its reciprocal. What is meant by this? I would explain it that. But what is a reciprocal? So let me say, what is a reciprocal? So we should know what a reciprocal is. So the reciprocal of a fraction is found by swapping the numerator and the denominator. So you invert them. Can you just type what is the reciprocal of 5 by 4? Yeah, kindly write in your chat so that I understand that you know. Yeah. So what is the reciprocal of 5 by 4? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good. So I go back to my, so the reciprocal of 5 over 4 is, as pointed out, it would be 4 over 5. So what if you have to do? This is a question. So it says 3 by 8 divided by 5 over 4. So what you would do? You would take the reciprocal of 5 over 4. So this thing becomes 3 over 8 times 4 over 5. Why 4 over 5? Because you have taken the reciprocal of this thing. So let me highlight it. So you are the one which is on the right side, which you have to divide. So by which you had to divide, you would take the reciprocal. And now this becomes, so can somebody just simplify it for me? Yeah, thank you. Kindly write the answer in the chat, please. Okay, so I go back to that. If you see here also, we can see there is two ways of doing it, and I would do it with the both ways so that the student who are not very clear, they understand. First thing, I would do it without simplifying. So what is this? We multiply the numerator. It's 4 times 3 is 12. So this becomes 12. And 8 times 5 is 40. So this is something which we get if we, let me just rub this. Yeah. So this is the way if we don't simplify it. And the other way is which is the preferred way. You see whether you can simplify it. So if you see 4 times 1 is 4 and 4 times 2 is 8. So this becomes 3 over 10. Actually, in the last lecture, we saw something which is the equivalent fraction. If you still remember it, if you see 3 over 10 is actually a equivalent fraction of 12 over 40. Why? If you times numerator by 4, it becomes 12, and denominator by 4 also 40. So it's the same thing. 3 over 10 is actually equivalent fraction of 12 over 40. 3 over 10 means you are making 10 equal parts of a thing and taking 3 parts. 12 over 40 means you are making 40 parts of a thing and taking a 12 parts, 40 equal parts of a thing. So they are both actually equal. So they are equivalent. So we would do some questions with your help so that so first of all, kindly do this question, 2 over 5 divided by 3 over 7, and let me know the answer, please. And here we see we can't simplify. And if in the question you can simplify, kindly simplify. Yeah, so kindly write the answer. I see that. Okay, yeah, good, good. So I go back and solve it so that if some of the students who have not, who everyone is clear about it. So it is 2 over 5, which we have. And we take the reciprocal of 3 over 7. So it becomes 7 over 3. And we change the sign of division into times or multiplication. So this becomes 14 over 15. Very nice, very nice. Let's do this second question. And here I would expect that you do the simplification. So it's a little different from the first question. In the first question, we couldn't do any simplification. So you have to solve this. Let me see the answers which the students are. Okay, yeah. So let's solve it and we see. So what we are doing is I take another color. It is 5 over 8. We change the division sign into times sign and we invert. We reciprocal of 15 over 16 is 16 over 15. So 16 over 15. And now we see that, let me highlight. Let me take the highlighter. Yeah, okay. And we see that here and here, there is a 5 and 15 comes in the 5 table. So we would do a simplification. How? We do a simplification by 5 times 1 is and 5 times 3. We understand. And we also see that we can simplify 16 and 8 because it comes in. So 8 times 1 and this is 2. So therefore 1 times 2 is in the numerator and in the denominator 1 times 3. So it becomes 2 over 3. Yeah, hopefully everyone understood this. Let's do it a little more tricky. So now we have something, a mixed number. So you will have to first convert this mixed number into fraction, and then you would change the division sign into multiply or the times sign, and then you would take the reciprocal, which is on the right side. So kindly do this question, and then we would solve it together also. So one student gave an answer. Okay, yeah. So we would do this together and see whether it is. So let me see, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. So this becomes 9 over 4. And we remain now still in division. 3 times 1 is 3, and this becomes 4 over 3. And in the next part, we would change it. So it becomes 9 over 4 times, and we reciprocal of 4 over 3 is 3 over 4. 3 over 4. So this thing becomes 27 over 16. And let me see, some of the students already wrote that. 27 over 16. And if we, yeah, and 27 over 16. And I go back to the, yeah. So this becomes 27 over 16. Or you can do like this if you put it in the 16. And if you subtract 16 out of 7, yeah, 27 minus 16, 27 minus 16, 1 and 1, so it becomes 11. So this is if you put it in a mixed form. So this is another form of doing it. Let me give a little difficult question to the, and that is perhaps before that, we know that is with the negative number. So if you multiply a negative with a negative number, so it becomes positive. Hopefully you know that. If you multiply a plus with the negative number, it becomes negative. So this is a thing which you should be knowing up till now. So I put a little difficult question and ask you how to do this, and let me know the answer. And just even don't let me know the answer, just see that what would be the, will the answer be positive or a negative. I say minus 2 over 7 times, yeah, times, um, let's say minus 1 over 7. Can you kindly write that what would be the answer, plus or negative, and also the answer? What would be the answer, please? Yeah, what would be the answer? Let me see. Okay, I am just type the answer, please. If you are multiplying minus with minus, it becomes plus, and so it would be 2 over 49. So this is your answer. So I finished my lecture, but before the lecture is finished, I would quickly revise it so that you know what we have learned today. I would just quickly revise it. What we learned today was, so today we were doing adding and subtracting the fractions, and then multiplying fraction and dividing fraction. These are the three topics which we covered today. We learned that while adding the fraction or subtracting the fraction, the denominator should be same, and the denominator would be made same if you convert the denominator number into its least common multiple of these two numbers, which we did that, and then you can just add or subtract the numerator. There would not be any problem. And then we also found out that the least common multiple can be found by multiplying the number and dividing it by its highest common factor. We also saw what is a factor and what is the highest common factor. Then we went to understand multiplying the fractions. In multiplying the fraction, we learned that if there is an off will be converted into times sign. If you are asked 1 over 2 of 3 over 4, so it means 1 over 2 times 3 over 4. And we did some questions together, and then we learned how to divide the fraction. The fraction would be divided if you take the reciprocal of the fraction by which the other fraction is to be divided. That we did here. For example, 3 over 8 divided by 5 over 4 is 3 over 8 times 4 over 5. And one thing also which we learned is simplifying. If in the fraction a numerator and the denominator number comes in a table, we can simplify it. Otherwise, we also learned it is something which is uh, we would get an equivalent fraction otherwise. And in the last part, we looked into something that if the negative number is multiplied by a negative number, the answer is a positive number. If a positive number is multiplied with a negative number or a fraction, the answer is a negative number. And in that, we did this very small example at the end, minus 2 over 7 times minus 1 over 7. So it is minus times minus is plus, therefore we normally don't put a plus sign. And 2 times 1 is 2 and 7 times 7 is 49. So with this, I end my lectures today. Hopefully it was of some help. I had deliberately kept it very simple because I was not knowing what type of the student and what their understanding is. And also I said that this lecture is for the students from year 6 and higher.